Before the Fire Nation was the big bad wolf in the world of Avatar, there was internal fighting between the other nations as well, and one of the most explosive conflicts was between the Water Tribe and the Earth Kingdom. But why would those two fight each other? Let's discuss on the other side of the intro. Hey folks, my name is Antoine, your resident geek, giving you theories and discussion for all things Avatar, and today we'll be diving into the all-new location, Qinbao, a port city on the northern tip of the Earth Kingdom and a source of potentially brutal conflict. As a note, all information from this point on is coming within a 4-year period in the Avatar timeline between Fire Lord Sozin's coronation in 58 BG, before the Airbender genocide, to Avatar Roku's wedding in 54 BG. As always, this information is all being sourced from the canon Avatar Legends role-playing game. If you want to stay up to date as I go through my coverage of all the lore, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. As read from the campaign guide, for years, the Northern Water Tribe and the Northern Earth Kingdom state of Qinbao have been embroiled in a dispute over local fishing and trade routes. Both nations have engaged in minor skirmishes and militarized the waters in between as a show of force. And this makes a lot of sense and is good attention to detail. Any strait in any waters between two nations is always rife with contention. From our real world, like the Straits of Somalia, the Panama Canal, or the Strait of Gibraltar. Same is the case for the fictional Northern Passage. Trade routes are a vital part of running a successful nation, so any excuse for a war doesn't have to be very strong. So it didn't help when a tsunami swept through the passage, causing significant damage to a Water Tribe fleet passing through and completely destroying several Earth Kingdom coastal villages, including the port city of Qinbao. Of course, each nation blames the other, with the Earth Kingdom stating that it was the Water Tribe that sent a tidal wave, while the Water Tribe say it was the Earth Kingdom that caused an earthquake to create a tsunami. Of the two, the Water Tribe was more correct, as the giant waves were created by a naturally deriving earthquake at the seafloor. Which, by the way, is the difference between a tidal wave and a tsunami, and no, I didn't just learn that by making this video. Okay, yes, I totally learned that by making this video. So, the issue is that neither nation knows the truth, which makes the tension of this conflict all the more interesting. I mean, think about it. If you were a citizen of either nation, it is completely within reason that the opposing faction across the sea was the cause when you have people who can bend water magically and another who can generate earthquakes. I mean, we have seen Katara do this almost by herself, and someone like Toph, or at least several Tophs, could totally manifest enough disruption on a seafloor to generate a tsunami. I mean, just look at Kyoshi and what she did the first time she used the Avatar state, which we talked about in this video. So, after the waters settled, pun intended, both sides were ready for war, but not before Avatar Roku and several airbending masters from the Northern Air Temple intervened to settle the affairs. And as the campaign guide tells us, though both sides backed down, their navies remained in the waters ready to act on the first sign of wrongdoing from either side. And the conflict is on a path back to greater tension as the governor of Qinbao now tries to tax any Water Tribe goods or ships traveling through these waters. The foundations of this conflict was mitigated, but not squashed, and certainly not forgotten. As the campaign guide tells us, the waters between the Northern Water Tribe and the Earth Kingdom contain valuable fishing grounds and waterways leading into both the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation. The Northern Water Tribes in the Earth Kingdom had been embroiled in a conflict for control of the waterways, which come to a head after a devastating tsunami, which, of course, we just covered. Now, the governor of Qinbao, who probably has to manage the rebuild around the coast, demands a tax from Water Tribe merchant ships, again, most likely to fund the reconstruction of the infrastructure he lost on land. And that makes sense. If outright war is off the table thanks to Avatar Roku and the Airbending Masters, then sanctions and taxes would have to do. Geez, I wonder where we've heard about that happening in current events. But the governor's plan for taxes doesn't go over well because the Water Tribe ships and boats are too good at outmaneuvering the much slower Earth Kingdom fleet, which reminded me of Sokka's rite of passage during the episode Bado of the Water Tribe. Plus, that logic tracks because waterbenders would be much better in the water than a nation whose dominant element is Earth. Without the means to halt the Water Tribe movement within the Northern Passage, The governor instead states that any goods sold within the Water Tribe to the Earth Kingdom is considered as contraband. Obviously, the Water Tribe does not take a liking to this, and the governor of Qinbao petitions assistance from the Earth King to send military help. But the governor of Qinbao isn't the only one trying to make moves and build a force against his neighbors. Chief Skiri of the north also attempts to tax both the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation ships that pass through the Northern Passage. In fact, he may be even more aggressive than his Earth Kingdom neighbors, cutting many international ties in favor of aggressively protecting what he deems as Water Tribe territory. And his actions are so radical, he even resorts to blackmail and threats, forcing a cold war of espionage between himself and the Earth King. Despite the negative face he holds to the international public, the people of the North adore him and would fight for him until the end, jumping on the prospect of financial reward which Skiri is offering to anyone who gives him intel on the Earth Kingdom and their movements and plots. And from there, the conclusion of this conflict is up to the characters you create in Avatar Legends. And that's it! In the next video in this series, we'll continue taking a deeper look at the Water Tribes and what they were up to during Roku's era. From Roku's waterbending master to the brief collaboration with the Fire Nation, and much more. And tell me what was the most interesting bit of information you discovered in this video. Who would you side with in this conflict, and how would you keep the peace? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Avatar content just like this. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.